Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about basic theory. And we're going to take each question. Now we're going to start with question 1. And in most of the start questions in the theory, it starts with naming notes. Now I guess if you're doing this exam, you're already familiar with notes, but we're just going to cover a couple of points to remember and some errors some students make in exams. Okay, so this is just a quick review. We know middle C. Okay, think of it as, for some people I say the sea, like you have the water below the sea, are notes that are in the bass clef. Now when I look at the bass clef, I usually like to say it's a half a heart because the heart is predominantly more on your left side. Okay, so let's do the rhyme for line. Every good boy deserves fudge. You can create your own rhyme. The spaces. Spell face. F-A-C-E. And we have just a little baby face there to show a face. So the space notes in the treble clef. The bass clef, keeping in mind of below the sea. Great bass, bass is a fish. Great bass deserve fish food always. And the space notes, all crabs eat grass. Okay, so there's just one way of understanding note names. Now, this is a typical kind of question you could get on your basic theory exam. It would say, write the following notes in the treble clef. Use whole notes. Now, be very careful because you see it says treble. A lot of students make errors because they don't read the question properly. Well, this one has a treble clef, so that's not so bad. So we're going to do the first one. It says D sharp. So we're going to put D and the sharp right in front. Okay? A. G flat. Now, I have some students that say, or they'll write the flat here, or the accidental, it's called, right behind. I'll say, no, you can't do that. They'll say, yes. But you say it like that, G flat. Exactly. We write, when we're writing the note name, we write it like we say it. But when it comes to putting the note name as a note on the staff, we have to put the accidental directly in front of it. And if it's a line note, it's a line accidental. If it's a space note, it'll be a space accidental. So the reason being, like, can you imagine if you're playing G and then you put the flat here? Because we always read from left to right. We would see the G first and go, oh, it should have been a flat. So just to keep that in mind, always in front of the note when we are playing. Always when we're writing, we write it like we say it. Another type of example you could get, okay, write the following notes in the bass clef. Use whole notes, and usually they will use whole notes. So again, bass clef, C sharp. So we're going to write the note in, okay, C sharp, okay, A, so in the bass clef. All right, so make sure it's also very clearly on the line or space you're writing it in, because the adjudicators or the examiners there that are going to be marking your papers, they're not going to take the time to think what you may have meant. So make sure it's very clear when you're writing. Now, in this exam too, you could be asked to write leisure lines. All right, so let's just take, for basic rudiments, they can have an example of up to 5 leisure lines up or down. All right. Now, all leisure lines are, as most of us may know, are just an extension of the staff. So, for instance, let's say this is the treble clef. All right. We put the very first leisure line you might know is for middle C. All right. Okay, and it is the middle. All right. So even if you're looking at the keyboard, let's go down to the keyboard for a second. And I like to say, when you're doing middle C, because there's the middle, a hyphen always attaches something. So notes above middle C are in the treble clef. Notes below middle C are in the bass clef. But when we use leisure lines, we're going to borrow. All right, so underneath here we're going to try to keep it the same distance. So C, B, A. So you're just going to go backwards. So we have middle C, B, A. If we go up, there's line 5. We're going to draw line 6 with a leisure line. Well, line 6 would be A, very up high from middle C. See the distance? if we do another leisure line. Okay, so what we do is we're just going to keep creating leisure lines if we want to go higher or lower on the staff. And so they could ask you that. So all you have to do is continue with your rhyme. Another thing that could be asked is this. Let's just do this in a treble clef. They might ask you in basic rudiments to write the enharmonic. Enharmonic, all it means is the other name, pretty much, to keep it simple, for a note. Like every note can have two note names. For instance, we have F. What's another way to say F? So let's come down to the keyboard. Okay, here's F. What's another way to say F? E sharp. So F is F, or we could see it drawn as E sharp. Okay, so look at here. There's two note names. This is a D, and that's an E. What would the two note names be for this black key? Now, enharmonically, because it'll sound the same, but it could be spelled differently when we're seeing it, okay? Like when we're seeing it on staff paper. But to the ear, it will sound the same. But this could be D sharp, because sharps always move to the right. Or it could be known as E flat, because flats always move to the left. You know, just like our little shovel, we're going to go down. So here, let's write that. We're going to go back up onto the paper here. Okay, we're going to take it in the bass clef. And so they could give you a note such as, let's do here, F sharp. Okay, and they'll say write an enharmonic note to F sharp. So what would you write? Okay, so F sharp, we know, let's take it to the bass clef, would be here. Okay, there's F sharp. We're going to then, so obviously this is F, so it's going to be here. So we're going to say G flat. All right, let's just do another one in treble clef here. Let's do A flat. Well, here is A flat. See, there's A. What's another name for A flat? We could say, or we will say, is G sharp. So remember, sharps move to the right, flats to the left. So keeping in mind what you could get asked in an exam, sometimes they'll just write, in an exam, they might just write a note like this. And they will say A. Here, all right, and they'll say put the appropriate clef for this note to make it an A. Would you put a bass clef? No. We would put a treble clef, because only in the treble clef does that make an A. Because look at here. If I put a bass clef and I put a note in space 2, remember our rhyme? All cows eat grass, or all crabs eat grass. That's a C in the bass clef. So without a clef, the notes really mean nothing. So you could get asked questions like that. All right, so if, again, if we put this, and they'll say, and they'll write here, write the appropriate clef to make that a D. What would you put in? You're right. We would put in a bass clef. Because if it was the treble clef, the note on line 3 is a B for every good boy, right? All right, so now also you hear music in the background. That's for Mozart for the Mind. I don't know if you've heard, if you listen to 10 minutes of Mozart or classical music, it makes you smarter. So before you do an exam, try to listen to some Baroque music. And we'll be back.